Hi everybody, Chris here from Stumble Forward again, and today I'm going to be doing my next video here. And if you joined me last week on last week's video, I talked about how to master your mindset to get out of debt. Today I'm going to be focusing on how to master your emotions to get out of debt. So a little bit different, but today, this week and last week had a lot to do with really keeping yourself in focus. And these two, once you've gotten mastering your mindset and you're then mastering your emotions down, these two things can come very valuable to you to become very successful in getting out of debt and then going beyond that. And today I want to talk about emotions again, because emotions control a lot of things. They control how we feel, they control what we do, and they really, if you think about it, emotion has a lot of control in what we do in life and what we become and where we end up. And if we focus on the wrong things, emotions can really drive us to do a lot of things we don't necessarily want to do. And I'm going to talk a lot about that more in today's videos. So to start off, I'm going to kind of give you an analogy of how emotions play a role in you trying to get out of debt. Just kind of think of it like a scale, okay? And this is the easiest way to think of it, is that you have emotions, which is on one side of the scale, and then you have your intelligence on the other side of the scale. So what's happening is that not either one of them really has a particular balance. I mean, sometimes they're balanced, but there's certain times where your emotions really take over. And what happens is when the emotions take over, what happens to the other side of the scale? Your intelligence goes down. So I'll give you an example of this. Maybe you might know someone that is a shopaholic, or somebody that buys things just to buy them. They buy that stuff they really don't need. And to think of it this way is that they're buying based on emotion. People that are driven. We got sales that are 50% off or something, and they get emotionally involved in that sale, and they're like, wow, I've got to buy this, I got to get this. The emotions has got them all wrapped up. But what happens is that the emotions are really, really high and your intelligence is low. And what's meaning is that the emotions are doing the buying, and your intellect, the intelligence that you have, has really been pushed back to the background, and you're not using that part of your intellect to get out of and not buy what you're trying to stay away from. And what happens, you end up buying something you may not even need. And so it's really a powerful thing to know this. So what happens again is that intelligence is low and emotions are high, and what happens is, again, you're thinking emotionally, and this is a bad thing to be in, a bad situation to be in. But the same happens the other way as well. When your intelligence is high, your emotions is low, and that's the key to being in any buying situation or dealing with your debt, and is controlling the emotion and pushing that down, and controlling your intellect, your intelligence, and pushing that up, and making smart buying decisions and controlling your debt. And this has a big influence on the way you get out of debt, because if you get very emotional very quickly, you may notice that you're having a lot of problems with trying to get out of debt, or even try to get started getting out of debt, and this can be a huge issue. So to just help you out with that, think about it that way. If you're too emotional, it's because you're not thinking clearly enough. You need to take a step back. So I'm going to talk about, before I get any further, I want to talk about how you can deal with this emotion, how you can deal with this situation. And so now that we know how it does that, how it happens, why you might buy things or emotionally get into debt is because of a lot of emotion. So now that we know how do you get out of it? How do you stop it? How do you get out of that cycle? And the first thing you need to do is you need to stay away from the things that are getting you emotional. For example, if you go to a shopping mall, and at the shopping mall you end up buying all this stuff you really don't need and you emotionally get wrapped up into it. Or maybe your bills, every time you sit down to do your bills, you just get all out of whack. And you need to stop maybe doing all the bills all the time and maybe just focus on it maybe once a week. Or instead of going shopping all the time, maybe go once a year, say at Christmas time. Focus on staying away from those things. I know there are things they may be drawn to do a lot, but you have to stay away from them because sometimes they may be your biggest weakness. The second thing you need to do is take time before you buy something and to make a buying decision. This is something I took a lot of effort into doing because I knew this was one of my biggest problems trying to get out of debt. In fact, I would always make a buying decision, and before I would do it, I would make terrible buying decisions, in fact, and I wouldn't sit back and wait and think about it and really ask myself, do I really need this, or can I live without it? Is it something I could totally live without? I would never need it, and I could do without it. Like buying a video game or something like that. Or this great new clothes. Sometimes you really just don't need it, and that's a way. Sometimes you'll just sit there and you'll think about it long enough, and you'll say, you know what, I really don't need it, and you won't buy it, and it'll save you a lot. And I've had people say, well, I should buy that, and they emotionally get wrapped up into it and say, oh, it's 50% off, but if they take that step back and realize that, hey, if I wouldn't buy it, I'd save 100%, So another good technique. And the last one is use your debt plan as a guide to keep you keep that intelligence in place and to keep the emotion out. If you follow your debt plan you got set up, and if you go to my website at www.stumbleforward.com, and then up on the top right hand column click on debt plans, you can set up your own debt plan right there, and it'll walk you through everything you need to do to set up your debt plan. But you set up your debt plan, and the great thing about it is that if you can follow that and keep the emotion away, what will happen is you'll be able to stick to your debt plan. The emotions won't keep you all raveled up into it, and if you follow it, you'll be on your way to getting out of debt a lot quicker. So I want to conclude today's video, and I want to say, emotions have a very, very big, powerful part in you trying to get out of debt. And I know it's a tough thing. It's a very intangible thing as well. As last week's on mentality was very intangible, this week is a very intangible subject to talk about as well. But I want you to know that if you can put yourself into it and really work at keeping the emotion out of what you're doing, the buying decisions, you'll find that you won't buy as much stuff and that you'll actually save a lot more money. So I want to thank you for listening to today's video, watching today's video, and hope to see you more. If you'd like to subscribe and get more videos like this, go to www.stumbleforward.com, and on the top right hand area there's a red or an orange square. It's an RSS icon. You can simply just click on that, sign up for my RSS at www.stumbleforward, or just below that you can sign up to my free updates, which is simply by putting your email address in, and you can get automatic updates straight to your inbox from me, and great videos like this. So thanks for watching today, and hope to see you at the next video. Thanks.